Do you believe that sodium-ion batteries will be the lithium killer? Have you heard the rumors that sodium batteries are dirt cheap, that the materials can be scooped right out of the sea, and that the end of lithium has arrived? You are being led by the nose by the media. The naked truth is, sodium-ion batteries will never replace lithium in the electric vehicles or the phone you are currently holding in your hand. Why? Because physics doesn't lie, and Elon Musk, the man holding the secrets in Master Plan Part 3, is no fool. We need to travel back to 2022 to understand how this misconception started. At that time, the price of lithium carbonate had reached an insane historical peak of nearly $80,000 per ton. In that specific context, sodium-ion emerged as a financial angel, promising a bill of materials that was 30% to 40% cheaper than the incumbent technology. However, the market is a living, breathing beast, and the reality of 2024 and early 2025 is vastly different. The price of lithium didn't just drop. It collapsed, free-falling more than 80% to stabilize around the $13,000 to $15,000 per ton range. In the blink of an eye, the single biggest competitive advantage of sodium, its cheapness, evaporated. I want to pose a rhetorical question to you. If you were the CEO of a major automotive manufacturer, would you risk your company's reputation on a brand new, unproven battery chemistry just to save a few negligible pennies, especially when the high-quality lithium iron phosphate LFP batteries are now incredibly affordable? The answer is obviously no. Furthermore, there is a technical secret that most optimistic articles conveniently fail to mention. Sodium-ion batteries cannot use the cheap, abundant graphite anodes that lithium batteries use. Because the sodium ions are too large, they require hard carbon anodes. The supply chain for hard carbon is currently in its infancy. It is expensive, it is difficult to scale, and it is far more complex to manufacture than graphite. The result is a bitter economic irony, where we currently have a battery technology that offers inferior performance, but has a real-world manufacturing cost that is effectively on par with the king, lithium. It is a complete failure of the economic equation. This leads us to the second and perhaps most insurmountable obstacle, the trap of the periodic table. Physics does not joke around. This is the core engineering reason why Elon Musk shows zero interest in putting sodium into his cars. We need to revisit high school chemistry to understand the gravity of the situation. Lithium sits at position number 3 on the periodic table, boasting a super light atomic weight of approximately 6.94 grams per mole. Directly below it sits sodium, with an atomic weight of roughly 22.99 grams per mole. This means that every single sodium ion that carries a charge is more than 3 times heavier and significantly larger physically than a lithium ion. In the world of battery engineering, we refer to this inevitable physical penalty as an energy density disaster. To put this into perspective with concrete numbers, high-end lithium batteries are currently achieving densities of 250 to 300 watt-hours per kilogram. The absolute best sodium-ion batteries from top-tier manufacturers like KTL or Northvolt are struggling to break past 160 watt-hours per kilogram. Let's do a simple calculation to see what this means for your car. If you wanted to build a Tesla Model S that achieves a 500-kilometer range using sodium batteries, that battery pack would physically need to be nearly twice the size and twice the weight of a lithium pack. Would you be willing to drive a sports sedan that weighs as much as a delivery truck, shreds its tires due to excess mass, and forces the suspension system to work overtime just to carry the battery? Certainly not. Physics has strictly limited sodium to the segment of electric scooters or tiny city cars. It simply does not have the ticket to enter the universe of long-range highway vehicles. If you need further proof, look no further than Tesla's strategic silence. If sodium were truly the future, why did the most valuable car company on the planet not mention it in their master plan? In Master Plan Part 3, Tesla laid out their strategy with crystal clarity, dividing the battery world into 2 distinct camps. For heavy trucks and long-range luxury vehicles, they selected high-nickel lithium. For standard-range vehicles, they selected lithium iron phosphate. Sodium was nowhere to be found in the automotive category. Tesla chose LFP because it represents the engineering sweet spot. It is cheap, it is incredibly durable, and it is safe. This brings us to the third fatal flaw of sodium cycle life. You could drive that car for 15 years, and the chassis would likely rust away before the battery fails. In stark contrast, Commercial sodium batteries currently average between 2,000 and 3,000 cycles. Would you spend $50,000 on a car, knowing that you might have to worry about a battery replacement in 5 to 7 years? Tesla's engineers understand this trade-off perfectly. Replacing a 4,000-cycle lithium battery with a 2,000-cycle sodium battery would be a technological regression that no serious automaker wants to commit to. Finally, we must dig into the hidden technical nightmare known as volumetric expansion. This is a deep-dive topic that few people discuss, but it is critical. Because the sodium ion is so physically large when it forces its way into and out of the cathode and anode materials during the charging process, it causes the material to swell and shrink to puff up significantly more than lithium does. This continuous expansion and contraction is like inflating and deflating a balloon thousands of times. The result is microcracking within the electrode materials, which leads to rapid degradation of the battery cell. To fix this, engineers have to design more complex thermal management systems and stronger cell casings to contain the swelling, which in turn adds even more weight and cost to the pack. It is a vicious cycle of engineering compromises. So does this mean sodium ion is garbage? Absolutely not. But we must stop the delusion that it will replace the lithium in your driveway. Sodium ion was born to destroy the toxic lead-acid battery industry. It is destined for electric bicycles, delivery scooters, and most importantly, stationary grid storage. In those massive energy farms sitting on the ground where the weight of the battery doesn't matter and the size doesn't matter, sodium can win if it can undercut lithium by even a few cents. But for electric vehicles, lithium remains the undisputed king. As an engineer, my advice to you is simple. Do not delay buying an electric vehicle because you are waiting for the salt battery revolution. Because when that technology finally matures, it will likely only be found in tiny microcars or sitting silently in shipping containers in the desert. Tesla has picked its side. Physics has rendered its verdict, and now you know the truth.